For the past 7 years, I have meditated every single day, haven't missed a day. And here is my honest advice to someone who wants to start meditating. Back then, when I started meditating, I was in the darkest time of my life. I was struggling, my physical health, my career, my mental and emotional state. I was in the worst time of my life. And when I started digging in and started to finding, answers to my questions, and I really wanted to transform things. This is when I started coming across meditation. I started reading a little bit about it, and then I said to myself, okay, you know what? I feel like this is the answer. I remember that the book that actually introduced me to meditation was by a woman called Anita Morijani, and it was called Dying to Be Me. And she was talking about her near-death experience. And in the book, she does not specifically mention meditation as a tool, but she did talk about her near-death experience and her life story leading to being diagnosed with cancer. So right after I read that book, I started digging in, and this is when I found meditation. And then I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to meditate every single day, no matter what happens. And I said to myself, I'm going to learn more about meditation. I'm going to practice it every day because I knew that meditation was the tool that was going to change how I feel on the inside. And I knew that as soon as my mental and emotional state changes, the circumstances in my life are going to change as a result. I was done trying to get something from the outside to change how I feel, because back then, just like I said before, I had so much chronic pain. Every time I would go to a doctor, they would say, oh, well, take this prescription drug. And I'm like, no, I don't want to live on prescription drugs for the rest of my life. There has to be something better that I can do here. And so I knew that if I found a way to let go of all the anger, of the sadness, the frustration, the insecurities, the trauma that I was feeling, that my body was going to heal itself, because I knew that my body was capable of doing that. I knew that once I put myself in the right state, I'm going to find a better job, I'm going to feel better, and therefore things in my life are going to start moving in the right direction. And so if you are going through a difficult time in my life, whatever in your life, whatever challenge that is, whether it's health, finance, relationship, highly recommend that you try meditation. I remember that in the first 30 days, more than 80% of my chronic pain disappeared. The only thing that I did back then was meditation. And so it has to be it. And since then, I've never struggled with any health issue whatsoever. So, but this is not just about health. If you're going through any kind of challenge in your life, I highly recommend that you start meditating. You don't have to go big. You can start with as little as 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day, but make it consistent, Do your best to do it every day. Best times I found are first thing in the morning, last thing before you go to bed. These are the times when our brain waves are at the right time. They're relaxed. We are more susceptible to let go and to get into a state of connecting with the same energy that creates this universe. The beauty about meditation is that it removes all the layers that we have been believing into. It removes the layers of the stories, the personal narratives that we have been telling ourselves, the past traumas, the past difficulties that we have been through, and it brings us back to the essence of who we truly are, the energy, the spirit. It helps you to believe more in your power than you believe in your own limitation. When you know that what you do on the internal world changes how you feel externally and the circumstances that shows up in your life, this is when you become more passionate. This is when you become more excited and you want to do more, and because you know that you have a saying on what goes on into your life.